Hey there, welcome to another week of an SDR's journal. For this one, there might be a bit of background noise. I'm actually currently at the airport in Toronto, flying back to see my family in Dubai. I haven't been back to see my family in Dubai for about a year, so I'm pretty excited for that. But also consistency is key, which is why I'm at the airport right now recording this, because I definitely don't want to lose momentum. We're doing these on a weekly basis. So yeah, let's get right into it. The first key lesson, and also by the way, if you're new here, I talk about 3 key lessons that I've taken from a week before as an SDR at Loopio. And so let's get right into it. So the first thing is, when picking an account, this is something that I've been focusing on a lot more as I've become more and more tenured at Loopio and my pipelines build up. But when picking an account, there's 2 questions that I'm always asking myself. Why Loopio? So that's your product, so whatever product you are selling. So why that product? And then why now? So why Loopio for the specific prospect that I'm reaching out to? So like, what is the problem that they face specifically as such as to why they would want to use Loopio? And then why now? What's going on currently for them to use something like this, something like Loopio? And when you create that hypothesis, go into your prospect with that hypothesis of like why specifically your product would be needed at that specific moment right now. That's a question that I've kind of been asking myself. I already have like an Excel sheet. Probably a better way to do this, but like what I do is like I tend to find my accounts for the week, the start of the week that I want to prospect, and then for each account that I find, I have an Excel sheet column which basically says why am I reaching out to this account. So maybe there's recently there's been like a new VP of sales that's joined, maybe there's been, I don't know, a hiring trigger specifically that I could use, so using that to my advantage. And then yeah, then I also have another column as well that kind of discusses my strategy or I'm actually reaching out to that account. That's something that I've been using that's been pretty helpful, I would say. So that's number 1. The second thing I would say is it a priority right now? I've been getting this times right now, people saying, not a priority right now, reach out in 6 months or whatever. And I picked this up from Josh Brom, and I've been using it and having a bit more success with kind of getting at least to the truth of why behind that objection. But the idea is basically when someone says, hey, for example, for we solve for RFE response, and be like, RFE response is not a priority right now. Going with something like that's completely fine, totally understand, empathy. I know you didn't ask me to call you, I know you didn't ask me to, cold outbound you, but it sounds like you have other priorities at the moment right now. If you don't mind me asking, what is top of mind right now? I think I did this with a VP of sales recently, and they mentioned that they had a couple of other initiatives going on, and I was like, I had a chance to maybe at least get a chance to tie back RFE response to those initiatives, and of course, it didn't really go anywhere as such, but at least I got some level of traction when the person said to reach out in 3 to 6 months. But that's an example of like how, I guess, if someone says it isn't a priority right now, that's something you can use. I'm still testing this out, but I like this format. I like the idea of showing empathy, and then going with, if you don't mind me asking, and then going in and asking the question over there. Sometimes that works, sometimes that might not work. That's the second thing. The last thing I'd say is, and kudos to my manager Amanda at Loopio for this one, but she said a phrase at like one of our last one-on-one that really stuck with me, that time kills all deals and all deals momentum. When you have someone that has a problem, let's say you're in a discovery call or qualification call, whatever your company term classifies it. Let's say you have a discovery call, qualification call, and the prospect has a problem, but they're like, let's do it in 2 months from now, the demo or whatever. There's a pretty high chance that they're not going to show up to that call. So there's a higher chance that they'll show up to the actual demo the earlier it is to your next call. So of course you don't want to be pushy. Of course you don't want to put your prospect off. But what I've been doing is at the end of my calls, I'll suggest 2 or 3 rough times. So like, how about, let's say it's a Monday, but like, how about Wednesday afternoon or Thursday morning? Instead of being like, so I see a lot of SDRs, it is internally, externally, they'll say like, what is the best time for you to meet? And the prospect will suggest, let's say we're in December, the prospect will suggest let's say January or February, and you've basically lost any momentum there in that sales cycle as such. So giving a couple of times, yeah, all good, thanks. Giving a couple of times that you can reference, I think is a much more, that are close by to your next call, is a much more effective way to do it until there's like a real objection for the prospect. This is something that's actually real as to why they can't meet. So yeah, those are my three key lessons for this week. Again, apologies if there's a lot of background noise, but I wanted to get this video in before going back. Consistency is key. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you next week. Cheers.